Well, a few people might think that my not feeling there's any evidence for spirits and so on, that I had no experiences of a religious nature or saw any value whatsoever in religion. Well, that's not true. I have had experiences, but my rational mind would not be content with any, and my heart would not be content with saying things that either didn't make sense, that I couldn't prove or objectify, or that were just personal experiences. But there was a path that came to me, and I don't know how to explain it too easily, but I experimented with ESP when I was very young and had some unusual experiences. Couldn't quite understand what had happened, but at the end of it, there was a sense that it was dictated by my wanting to make things fit me without, really any concern for others. Just what did I want? And it became an ugly kind of attachment to the seeming power that I had. But it wasn't reliable, and yet you could get a little puffed up. Well, what changed that for me was a very crazy kind of experience in which I myself and some friends had dabbled into spirit-filled, charismatic Catholicism. And in that experience, there was a sense of tremendous love, and somehow seeming to know things that how could I have known? But again, this is not evidence for anything. But I feel that also, out of honesty, I should share that I've had such experiences. Phew. Well, it would seem, and it's happened along the way, and I think has happened to a few of us, where it seemed that we knew things before they happened. And in some cases, since we were looking for spiritual healing for people from their troubled lives, there was a kind of sense of message that would come, revealing significant things in another person's life. And we did this in a dialogue kind of a form. It was our attempt to speak as we felt Jesus was moving us to speak. Kind of play acting with the hope, it sounds silly, with the hope that somehow this would be a communication of great love and help. And indeed, many times it seemed to be that way. Toward the end of this kind of experience, I was turned off by the idea that anyone should follow someone else and trust any imperfect human being with their thoughts and experiences. Who is one person to guide another person, except maybe to share a path or a way forward. That impacted me strongly. And I came to see something that a friend later called a template, which seemed to fit a lot of situations, socially and individually. It was a kind of inner dialogue in the beginning that had certain perspectives that were attempts to care, and these perspectives seem to be the root of virtues. So this powerful sense of communication with this virtue ran headlong into problems of what I would call damaged faith and love, or helplessness around needs and feelings due to experiences of trauma and deprivation in people's lives, damaged faith. And Ruth Carter Stapleton, a great lady, teacher, and the sister of Jimmy Carter, who is a great soul, no doubt, is a great soul. He's still with us. May he continue. Well, there were great things that that did happen, and so I found that there was, a path forward where I didn't have to suggest that I knew things that I couldn't prove, nor more something that depended on people believing a certain thing. It was just a communication between our emotional, experiential core, physical and otherwise, with our ability to reflect and to attempt to meet our needs and others' needs. These basic perspectives, which I came to see as empathy, objectivity, and creativity. Creativity being how we achieve the virtue I would call art. And it is a perspective that is outside of our dramatic life, our emotional, direct experience of things. And to that part of ourselves, we are beloved, and the hero or the heroine of the book or movie of our lives. A message I would really like to get out to people in prisons and in other difficult situations. And the mythology that I came up with as a way of just expressing the experience had to do with empathy, helping us with anxieties from the present looking into the past, or anxieties buried in the past. And that part of ourselves in that drama connecting with objectivity, which is understanding, which can help us with our anxieties looking from the present into the future. These three approaches, of course, are all about virtue, objectivity. From that we get a sense of what's truth. And from empathy, we get goodness. Creativity, art, the ability to see the beauty in life, ourselves, and others. Yeah. So, and in the mythology that I created, these forces of empathy, which I call the caregiver in us, and the forces of objectivity, I call the director in us, are two arms of the artist in us. And at any moment, when we sense a lack of anxiety from the past and the future, at any moment like this, it's as if the artist in us has given us a hug and embraced us in a timelessness that the mystics talk about. When the trumpet of the Lord will sound, and time will be no more, and the morning breaks eternal, bright and fair. This is a time when we experience heaven right here on earth. And it's a time when, as the Lord's Prayer goes, where we are experiencing on earth as it is in heaven. So from this, there's this great sense of reaching out and courage to love and to share. And there's a sense of beauty in it all. A beauty that just outside of your hearing, kind of. Yet so beautiful, so full of love, that it brings tears to your eyes. And I think this is the common experience that people have that find virtue, whether they're believers in this or that or nothing at all. When it follows a path, which I call the path of redemption, where when we cannot do this on our own, we need grace, surprising love, and we can't surprise ourselves. So this is not something you do entirely on your own. This is the grace that comes from love, not just in yourself, or you're giving love to others, and to yourself, but to the love that is surprising from others. This is a beautiful experience, and it helps us to be able to feel that helplessness which has created all the symbolic struggles for power and money and other symbols of blocked need that make us less than the great people we could be. And so having felt that helplessness, around what we once needed, and which could not exist, whether to get away or to escape or to find that hug that you needed and never got, or traumas from war or whatever. These needs are then, we're able to know them as they are, not as crying about a symbol of the need, which isn't going to help, but feeling and having a cry, which can be with or without tears, from experiencing that need within the helplessness that once existed. And of course you need enough strength in the present in order to, enough of these virtues in order to feel that. So once you've felt that, you can know what you lost. And it's very important to know what you lost, because only then can you grieve the honest loss and let it go. And only at this point, when you have let go, not just verbally or telling yourself you did, but in a very feeling way, when you have realized what you've lost, grieved it and let it go, then is when you can forgive from your heart yourself and others, the world, God, if that's a thing for you to think about or conceptualize. That's when you can forgive. And only after this forgiveness are you able to confront and feel those times in which the hurt in you, the blindness in you, hurt others. Because those are the times when you were a force for evil. And that means isolation from loving society in a way. And what some people call sin or whatever. But the beauty is, once you are able to feel those things and have tears of true remorse, you are no longer the person who did those things, to whatever degree you resolved it. So you're always moving forward. Now after that, there's more joy in life. And of course, all along this time, while I'm telling the story, I'm remembering words of Christian songs, because I was raised that way. So it's, I'm and there's songs about blindness, being blind. I was so blind, but now I see. These kind of phrases in common Christian songs express this process. Now, also remember that think back to a lot of things that Jesus had to say, and you'll see a lot of confirmation of this kind of idea that there's a path which involves feeling your hurt as it really was, needing amazing grace or surprising love in order to do that, and having taken up that cross, then you begin this path. And you can call it following Buddha or Jesus or whatever you think of when you think of virtue. But this is powerful. After a while, it begins to be more natural to be able to feel some of these things. And even your dreams may be instructive to you about things that you need to change. And every now and then, you might just seem to hear something that's happening. And in your own mind, reach out and then help those that you know are in danger. You don't look around for the hero to come. Be that hero. When you are that hero or that heroine, you begin to see that everybody, one way or another, are a hero or a heroine in their lives. That they need to be made aware of it. And in embracing the love, the virtuous love that is available to them, they can become shining lights of that heroic love in a world that definitely needs it. And we're all imperfect. Punishment never cures anything. And if we seek forgiveness for ourselves, we do have to forgive others. And you remember the Lord's Prayer on that one. Now, I'm not trying to tell anybody that they have to believe this religion or that religion. I don't know. And I'm not going to say I do. But I can tell you that there is a path. And that it's a path to somewhere. To a place where love shines and time stands still. At those times, then you realize a kind of oneness with the universe. And a real sense of destiny and meaning in your life. And you understand so many things that people were trying to say in religions. I'm not a big fan of religion, not in general, because there's so many things that are unscientific in them, so many things that are just dead wrong, or very punishing, actually. So, I'm not a big fan of people following a religion blindly. But I am a fan of people walking that path. And I know that everyone has to find that path for themselves. And as the Buddha said, you know, it's like a raft to get to the other shore. Of course, the more you can set up a home on the other shore, the less you need the raft to go back and forth. That's my twist on what he said. He was a one-trip guy in his explanation. I happen to think it takes quite a lot of work, and that, as my Zen teacher said, you're never through. You're always a student as well as a teacher, and that sounds a lot like what scientists tell us. Always a student, always learning, and also teaching. Some of the best ways that you can be a student, or to know and understand what you think you understand, is to attempt to teach. So, right from the beginning, I like people to understand that they're not just a student listening to things that any person thinks are cool, but they're also a teacher, and that there are people they can reach that few others can. Everybody's important. For those that seem to be beyond healing, they have value because they challenge all the rest of us to care just that little bit more, to see that struggling hero in every life. If we can't help them, please don't hurt them. There's a saying that says, we are one with the universe, and that a one-word deal, and it's used to honor that same fact in other people. That word is namaste. Aham Brahmasmi. I am that universe, that multiverse, and I have an association with it. Aham Brahmasmi, Tattvamasi. That one word is namaste. Namaste.